You could please join us up here, Under Sheriff. We have a special proclamation, and we chose to acknowledge now rather than at the end of the meeting. And that is of Riverside County Deputy Isaiah Alberto Cordero. Those of you who have not heard, it was on the news nationwide. And the first time in 15 years, we had a Riverside County deputy shot and killed while on duty. It doesn't mean we haven't lost officers since then, or deputies. It was that it was while on duty. He began his service with Riverside County's Department as a correctional deputy at the Robert Presley Detention Center on May 5th, 2014. He began the 204th Basic Academy and was promoted deputy sheriff. That was back in February of 2018. Then he worked at Robert Presley Detention Center and Larry D. Smith Correctional Facility before transferring to the Harupa Valley Station. In September of 2022, Deputy Cordero completed motor school and was working motor enforcement at the time of his death. Those who had the opportunity, I'm sure some of you here were in the audience, but there were thousands of people there. That was one of his dreams in life, was to be a motor officer, motor deputy. And he was a young man that died in the prime of his life. He will be watched and carried by his brothers and sisters who don the uniform. His legacy will live on in the same intention and purpose that he came into the world with. There's so much to be said. The heartfelt words that were shared at the funeral, the number of law enforcement agencies, not only from California, but there were agencies represented from New York, all over the country, because this type of behavior has got to stop. Whatever your feelings are in law enforcement, I am sure that when you have a situation that you need help, you will call. We need to support those so that they're there. Those deputies, those law enforcement are there in your time of need, in my time of need, and all of our time of need. They sign up to put their life before everything in order to serve our communities. And I'm going to have you go a little more in depth.
Well, good morning. I'm Under Sheriff Don Sharp. Sheriff's unable to be here this morning, sends his apologies. Myself, the Sheriff's executive staff, all the members of the Riverside County Sheriff's Office, and the Cordero family, we appreciate everybody's support. These are difficult times. As the supervisor mentioned, we have lost deputies for other reasons in the line of duty, but when they're murdered by a criminal in our society, it hits home in a different way. And that's what happened here. We had a young man serving his community, serving his family well, and he was taken from us, and that just hits in a very hard way. So I appreciate everybody's support, the community, all the agencies in Riverside County and outside have been awesome to provide support to the family of Deputy Isaiah Cordero and to our department members, and I appreciate that. I've been doing this for coming up on 34 years now, and I've lost several people from my academy class who were murdered as well, and this never gets easier. It's not going to be easy for our department members, for our community, for the family, but we are a tight-knit group of people that will stick together. Our community serves us well and supports us well. And from the Riverside County Sheriff's Office, just to understand that we're professionals and we will come to work every day and continue the mission as Deputy Isaiah Cordero did, and we'll continue on with that. So with that, supervisors, I do appreciate your support. I appreciate the recognition of Deputy Isaiah Cordero and the support to his family. So thank you very much.
Under Sheriff, thank you for being here today. I recognize that our law enforcement personnel must see and know that when they put the uniform on every morning and go to work, there's a possibility that that may be their last day on duty. It's a sad recognition, and yet they continue to do that job. And I think one of the greatest selling points of young families who want to move to Riverside County is that we have safe communities, that we have safe neighborhoods. And that's the foundation. From there, we build good schools, business growth, et cetera. But there's a quality of life that we all enjoy living here in Riverside County that begins with a safe community. And when we see someone, one of our law enforcement personnel, trying to protect us and keep us insulated, and I hope we never take that for granted, that when they go out on the street every day, that they are literally putting their lives on the line, that we don't take that for granted, that the reason that we are protected is because of that commitment that they make on behalf of the Sheriff's Department and in protection of all of us. And so I would like to ask my colleagues to join me at the end of our meeting when we adjourn. I'd like to adjourn the meeting in the memory and honor of Deputy Cordero.
I echo also what Supervisor Washington just mentioned in terms of sometimes we do take it for granted, some of the law enforcement individuals that we do have. And so, thank you, Undersheriff, for being here. And, I was able to, and I know a lot of my colleagues also attended his service. It was very touching and sad, to see what happened. And again, our spirit is with you. Thank you.
Our condolences once again to Deputy Cordero and his family. And I'd like to thank all our deputies for the good work that you do. And public safety, it's a tough job. Not only is it tough because you're out on the beat, you're out in the streets, you're bringing about public safety, improving the quality of life, but you go under a lot of scrutiny, and that's ongoing. A lot of criticism, and that's ongoing, and that has an impact on your behavioral health. It has an impact on you and your family, and sometimes it's tough to get up in the morning and go to work, but I know you're doing this for the right reasons. And so know that there needs to be balance moving forward. No one should die this way, in this manner, for a routine stop. It's absurd. And so, as we move forward this next year, 2023, and the next 4 years on my behalf, my goal is to be balanced, but to ensure that ultimately you have the tools, the resources that you need to ensure the public safety as well of our sheriff, deputies, our first-line personnel, not only our residents and our communities. So thank you, Undersheriff.
Just briefly, my condolences to the family. Also, this past weekend, we had a sheriff deputy who was involved in a traffic accident. His vehicle had been T-boned. Must have been 10 deputy vehicles responded to that. You think, wow, that's a real overkill. But if they're all worried about the health and welfare of their coworkers, I'm surprised there wasn't more. So again, and thank you, Supervisor Spiegel and Supervisor Washington, for bringing this issue to the board today. Thank you.
And I can ask that you pass this to the family.